Welcome back to the Design Patterns in Java series. In episode 5, we covered the prototype pattern, cloning objects for performance and flexibility. And today, we shift from creational patterns to structural patterns. Structural patterns are all about composition, how classes and objects are combined to form larger structures. And today's focus is the adapter pattern. Episode 6 is all about it. The adapter pattern allows the interface of an existing class to be used as another interface. It's used to make incompatible interfaces work together without changing the code. Think of it like a power plug adapter. It adapts a UK plug to fit a European socket without modifying the plug or the socket. What are the use cases for this? Integrating legacy code, working with third-party APIs, reusing classes with incompatible interfaces, and supporting multiple formats or protocols. This is incredibly valuable in systems that evolve over time, where changing the original classes would be risky or impractical. So what are we going to use for this example? Suppose we're building a media player that only supports MP3 playback. A new library comes in that plays MP4 and VLC, but uses a completely different interface. Instead of rewriting our whole player, we can use an adapter. Let's walk through how we can use the adapter to integrate these different types of media players under a single interface. Now let's go through the code, and I need to be small for that. So let's do that real quick so you guys can read the code. All right. First of all, this is the interface that our application knows how to use. It's the media player interface. Any class that implements media player must be able to play a file by type and name. And for now, it only supports MP3. So we have two adaptee classes. We have a VLC player, which doesn't implement the media player one, and also its play VLC method calls only one thing, has only one argument, which is a file name. And the media player has an audio type and a file name, and it's called play. So we cannot use the media player interface right here. And we also have MP4 player with the exact same stuff, but then instead of play VLC, it's play MP4. These are existing media players, and they don't implement the media player interface. Now we're gonna create the adapter class. Now I've already done the typing, so let's go over the code. What it does right there is it bridges the gap. It implements the media player interface, but under the hood, it delegates playback to either VLC player or MP4 player, depending on the type of audio that is requested. The adapter translates method calls from one interface to another, so your system can continue using media player without worrying about the specifics. So we have audio player right here, and that implements media player, right? So we have the audio player right here, which is already using, so we have our old code right here, and it's audio player. And then what it does is if it's MP3, it would be printing, oh, I'm playing an MP3 file right now. And if you look at VLC, it says playing a VLC file, and here it's MP4 file, right? But our old code was just in audio player, checking if it's an MP3 file, and then we system out println playing an MP3 file. Now with our new adapter code, like I wrote the comment here so you can see the difference, what we do is we check, hey, if the audio type is VLC or it is MP4, then we're gonna create a new media adapter. We're passing in the audio type. It could either be VLC or it can be MP4. And then we just call the play method on that with the required arguments, the audio type and the file name. Now, what does it do, right? Let's go back over it again. It goes in here. It just knows that this is a VLC because it checks for that. And then it just plays the file name. And here it does the same thing for the MP4. And it passes in the file name to our MP4 player or a VLC player, and that just makes sure that it works. This actually shows how the adapter pattern enables backwards compatibility while extending functionality without changing your core logic. We didn't change much, we just added. We didn't change anything at all. We just added to audio player, right? Now I've also created a main class where we can see how this works. You get all the correct results. It says I'm playing an MP3 file, playing an MP4, and playing a VLC. And as you can see here, it runs this line of code. And here it uses the adapter to go to the right classes, pass in the file name, and then it prints out the correct statements, as you can see right here. And if we pass avi, it says unsupported file name avi. So we pass in avi, and when we go there, it says system out print line. I don't know what this is. This is invalid media. I don't know what avi is. And then it just says invalid media, format not supported. So this class actually demonstrated the whole setup in action. Plays MP3s directly. MP4 and VLC files are routed through the adapter, as you can see right here. And unsupported formats like avi are gracefully rejected. So what actually are the benefits? We have promoted code reuse without modifying existing classes. It helps achieve separation of concerns by isolating translation logic. It enables backwards compatibility when modernizing systems, and it simplifies third-party integration. There are also some downsides. It adds extra layers of interaction. It can clutter architecture if it's overused, and may mask architectural flaws if it's used as a workaround too frequently. Be sure not to hide your actual problems. If there's a problem in your code base, fix it. If it's actually a use case for the adapter pattern, use the adapter pattern, but don't use it as like a band-aid to cover up all your flaws. We also have some best practices. Use the adapter pattern when modifying existing code is risky or impossible. Prefer thin, focused adapters that do minimal translation. Combine with the facade pattern for more complex integrations, and document each adapter's purpose and limitations clearly. So what did we do today? Today we explored the adapter pattern, a powerful structural pattern that lets us integrate incompatible interfaces cleanly. Whether you're dealing with legacy code or an existing platform, adapters let you bridge the gap without rewriting large portions of your code base. And in the next episode, we'll look at the decorator pattern, which allows us to add new behaviors to objects dynamically. A pattern that's great for logging, formatting, and even permissions. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. Have a good day, and happy programming.